Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a bunch of news, but I want to cover some history that I didn't cover yet. I didn't cover it in time, but I'm sure you're slightly aware of it, but still I'm gonna do it now. So you remember the Trump inauguration when he came to power. The ceremony is usually accompanied by friends and family and allies. So, who was invited to that thing? I want you to pay attention to who he invited to this. So, he invited Argentina's president, Javier Milei, and he apparently went there. He invited Chinese President Xi Jinping, and he did not attend, but he did send a vice president. So this basically means from China, because China really likes doing this thing where their president is very rarely seen visiting countries. He only does it when he has to, when he's doing something big. But when you are not of great significance to them, they send somebody random and deal with you, you know. Italy's Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni of the far-right Brothers of Italy party, says she is likely to attend. So, we know who she is. She really likes the whole Mussolini and World War II type of fascism, and, she's invited. Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban, which did not go. He will not make it due to state. Doesn't matter. Doesn't want to go. Who is Viktor Orban? Well, that's the guy that in the EU really doesn't comply with EU and NATO standards. Really a wild card in on the European continent. So we have Ecuador's President El Salvador, also former Brazilian president. Brazilian. Interesting. And former Polish Prime Minister. Okay, who was not invited? Well, all the people you would expect to be invited by the US. They're friends. Not their puppets, they're friends. And that would be UK Prime Minister. Did not get invited. European Commission head Ursula von der Leyen. A very close ally, right? Did not get invited. Germany's President Olaf Scholz? Nope. Indian Prime Minister? Nope. Neither the French President Emmanuel Macron. None of those were invited. So why are they not invited? They're apparently allies, right? Well, they are not allies, as I was saying before. They are puppets. They do what they're told, and Americans simply don't care about them at all. So I want you to look at the map really quickly about the whole thing. So we have the world map here, and on this map we see big old Russia. We see Ukraine, that's very soon gonna be a part of the big old Russia. We have Belarus, and these three countries here that are insignificant. All of them together have the smaller population than the Moscow itself, so they really don't matter. We have Moldova and Romania, which have Romania is in the EU, Moldova is not, but they do have quite a lot of issues to resolve with EU for, not having cheap gas from Russia. We have Hungary, which is openly against NATO and EU, even though they are trapped in it. So they're there too. Slovakia is slowly following Hungarian footsteps. We have Poland that keeps militarizing itself, trying to be independent militarily, to not, expect, to not have a need for NATO to protect them in case of Russian invasion. They want to be able to defend themselves and not to beg for American help, which, if we look at Ukraine, they're not gonna get. So Croatia as well has its own problems with the EU, but they are a little bit shaky. They're already way too deep in the whole system, so they can't really go anywhere, but they try to not comply as much as possible. So this whole thing right here is very much, it doesn't have to be pro-Russian, but eventually it's gonna turn to be, because the cards are slowly collapsing. And if you look at NATO, Turkey is also in NATO, doesn't like NATO, doesn't like Americans especially, and has constantly some conflicts with Greece. And we have Italy that is openly fighting France, diplomatically fighting them over their colonies in Africa. So they don't get along, right? They just simply don't get along. So it's slowly spreading towards the west, the whole eastern outlook. And if we look at Americans and who they invited Argentina, Brazil, China, Hungary. Yeah, that guy. So these are all the countries that are looking at BRICS and the other side. So is Trump really trying to squeeze his way in there? I don't know. I'm pretty sure he would invite Russia as well if he wouldn't be killed for it by the rest. But, maybe they had a phone call and, did their thing over there. But let's, now that you know this part, let's move on to some other things. So Europe threatens troops to Greenland after Trump purchase offer. So Trump did offer some money to buy Greenland, and nobody's gonna sell any land because, as we know, land is there and doesn't grow on trees, so there's not gonna be any other to replace it. So you keep what you have, and Denmark plans to do so. So Denmark, I like how it says Denmark said on Monday. Who of them? What entire country yelled at once? Somebody said it, doesn't matter. It plans to spend $2 billion to boost its military presence in the Arctic. Is that gonna save them from anything? No, it's not. It's definitely not. Now, they want to send troops there and potentially protect themselves against American invasion that Trump did say they're gonna try with sanctions, and then they're gonna try, they're definitely gonna take it militarily, so invade. Starts to act a lot of like people he invited to his thing, right? So this is saying Europe threatens. You mean the entire EU? No, they did not say that. They said Denmark, and I'm pretty sure Austria also said that Denmark should do this. And they immediately went like, well, Europe. Alright, so we go, Germany and Denmark say Europe must toughen up. True. You've been under American umbrella for far too long, and Europe has... They're saying that there is no need for us to have military. Americans are protecting us. We're in NATO. They're spending trillions of dollars on their military. They can protect us. But I'm pretty sure it was, well, American occupation, and that they have some sort of a deal with Americans to not have a military high enough to be ever a threat to the Americans, just like British and French used to have with Germany before World War II, where they told them you cannot have more than 100,000 troops and no tanks, no planes, just regular troops, just infantry, and not over that number. So that is not a very good friendship. They probably have it, they're clearly quiet about it, because what other reason would they have to not have military in their own country but have Americans protect them? It's a military occupation, not a friendship. So this guy, German president, Chancellor Olaf Scholz, has warned of the threat posed by hybrid warfare from Moscow. Yeah, Moscow is the problem. After a underwater Baltic Sea cable was severed. Was that a Chinese ship you were blaming on or something? I don't know, but it doesn't matter. They want to, get their military up. And why with Denmark? Well, because Denmark is also about to fight Americans. So is Europe moving against US, or are they looking towards Moscow? Or is it again gonna be a war on two fronts, which didn't work last time? It's not gonna work this time. I don't know what you're trying to get. But they're kind of pissed off because Trump wants to cut off the foreign aid. So no more money for other countries. No more money for their allies, aka puppets. So of course, they're gonna try and fix their state like Poland has been doing, being more independent, and in case Americans try to do anything like invade Greenland for no reason, they can probably at least give a good fight and protect it for a while. Moving on. European leaders criticize Musk for telling Germans to move beyond the past. European politicians are among those who have criticized Elon Musk for telling Germans to let go of the guilt of the past. Woof. That guy. He told Germany to, don't worry about it. It happened, so what now? Musk has previously said that only the far-right party, which says that Germans should no longer apologize for the country's Nazi past, can save Germany in next month's elections. So there is some sort of a far-right movement, a party that's going on the election, and Musk says, my brothers, don't apologize for what your party did in the past. Just embrace it. Yeah, that's the dude. That's still alive. That's still not arrested. It's fine. He can be a Nazi. He has a lot of money. If you have money, you can be Nazi. Nazism is not for the poor people. You can be communist if you're poor. It's fine. So Trump says, need to immediately develop Iron Dome shield to protect Americans. I thought you already had those. Didn't you? Didn't you have them in Ukraine? In Israel? I'm pretty sure you had, but alright, you have to develop it for some reason. US President Donald Trump has said that there is a need to develop Made in America Iron Dome shield system like the one with Israel, so as to protect the American people. So where is your Iron Dome being made? In China? In Israel? Why are you incapable of making your own? I don't know, but apparently they are so far behind everybody else technologically that they don't even have this thing. And I thought they had. But we saw Iran wrecking Israel with missiles. We saw Russia wrecking Ukraine with missiles, and I didn't see Americans being capable of defending anyone, and they cannot defend themselves. So yeah, they immediately need to develop it. All right, it's a lot of talk from the Americans. They made so many movies about themselves, how they're great, that they started believing them. But reality hits you in the face when you go too far. And this is the reality. They cannot defend themselves. And they just now realized. This dum-dum just now realized. Where are your military experts? You know, where are those people that kept saying Ukraine can win this war? No, it cannot. I could tell you that. You should give me a job. I can be your military advisor. So you don't listen to these dumbasses. But moving on. And I love these type of news where they say entire Russian regiment abandoned the front lines in Ukraine. Oh yeah, Russia is losing, right? Things aren't going according to plan. Yeah, winning side is abandoning the front line. I don't know who believes this. I genuinely don't know who believes this. And we have Ukrainian forces score significant victory against Russian troops. They're pushing these news so you can see it. They're telling you basically, like, look at this. Russia is losing, Ukraine is winning. Alright, so if we go to the map, we can see that Russia is still not losing. Russia is still taking territory and still pushing. So they're saying that Ukraine is making moves in Kursk. That is correct. They're making moves here. But once again, I'm asking you, where are they gonna go? Where are you gonna go? You see where Moscow is? Way up there. And you think you can make this push towards Moscow and cut everything off down there with a few thousand soldiers? You need at least 1 million for that type of push. And that's not considering that Russia has allies and Russia has nuclear weapons. Just let's forget about that. Let's say Russians are complete brain dead idiots. And, you know, you have 1 million soldiers. You don't have any of those things. And especially now, when Trump doesn't give you any more money, any more weapons, you're kind of screwed. You're going to be solely reliant on Europe, and Europe is already very much depleted, and they're going to need more weapons, and guess who's going to sell them those weapons, and who's going to make the money off of that and recover their broken currency being dollar that's going down the drain. But it doesn't matter. So they keep saying Russia is abandoning, Russia is losing. Russia did place North Koreans in the Kursk region, right there where Ukrainians are currently pushing. It's not because Russia doesn't have soldiers to cover this area. It's simply because Russia is in a military alliance with North Korea, and North Koreans are very much outdated, as we all know, and they need some modern warfare experience. So he put them there where it doesn't matter if Ukrainians push in. So even if they fail, it's fine. They're gonna learn something out of it. So this is just a little practice place, a little, where they can enjoy and try and learn something. It's fine if you fail. This is a bicycle with training wheels. It doesn't matter. And here, as we talked about before, as I said, Russians gonna try and push to Kharkiv, and they started shelling the shit out of it already. So they're obviously not stupid. They're gonna push right here along the river. And we see here things are happening basically as I said. There you go. They're closing this pocket as we talked about before. It's very easy to see what Russia is gonna do next. and how they're simply incapable of losing this conflict. So whatever these people say here on the news, that Ukraine is victorious and Russia is falling apart, just look at the map. This is delusion. This is American delusion. This is them saying, this is American movies right here. These news are American movies. It's nothing else but that. Reality is something else, and you need to open your eyes. This is not a joke. But hey, they keep saying they can win, and people are very much stupid enough to believe it. So don't be stupid. Just see how it is. Anyone can see it if they look, hard enough. But yeah, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you let me know down in the comments below what you think about all of this. I'll keep letting you know what you're cooking while you're not looking, and I'll see you on the next one.